Oh, here we are. December 2nd, 2022. I'm Larissa. This is my video diary. I had the craziest dream last night. I did. It was wild. So I was in the house here, and I walked up the stairs, and at the end of the hallway where the stairs come up, there I found a secret door. And that door, like, went into this room, and there's a hallway that went up into the attic. And in this little room, there were all these there were like these two big computer screens and keyboards and stuff. And it was like a secret observation room. And then there was all this women's underwear in there. It was so weird. And I looked down after I come out of the room. My foot was itching, and I looked down at my foot, and there's like all this, like, I don't know. There's these jellyfish that wash up on the shore sometimes that are like, they're like, I think they're called sailfish. They're real thin. They dry on the beach, and they're like paper, right? And they're round, and they got these like purpley rings on them. They smell really bad when they all wash up and they dry like that. Anyway, I dreamt that these things, there were a bunch of these things like that were like coming up out of my skin on my foot. And I sprayed peroxide on them, and they sizzled, and more started to come up out of my foot, and then they started coming out of my mouth. I was pulling them out of my mouth. These jellyfish. It's really weird. Really weird. That's a weird one. But I was in this house. And Omar was like, there's not a secret room, like in the dream. I'm like, yeah, there is. And I showed it to him, and he's like, oh. I'm like, how long has this been there? He's like, I go there every weekend. Every weekend I watch you there. I'm like, what? It was really weird. It was really, really, really weird. I was trying to find a doctor to get these things off of my foot. Oh my God, it was really weird. Really weird dream. Jellyfish coming out of my foot. I don't know what that was all about. I saw another story this morning about female athletes, more female athletes being upset about not being paid as much as men, wanting more pay or whatever. It really is, you know, like pay from a business. You know, like the business has to make money in order for anybody to be paid, right? Like money doesn't just... This is the way I feel about women's sports. I don't watch them. And I'm happy for any woman who gets to play, who wants to play. Like, I'm really happy for you. But I don't watch them. And this is the uncomfortable thing that nobody likes to talk about. And it comes down to the sexiness of sports, right? Like, there's a sex appeal, right? Like, that just isn't there for me watching women, right? I'm not interested. And for men, like, I'm not saying that men watch men's sports because of sexual prowess, right? Like, but like that you know, that game, that camaraderie, that there's a macho-ness, you know? They don't want to watch women competing in a way where they're then feeling like, oh, she could beat me at that, right? Like, that's just like, even if they're not consciously, this is just psychology, right? So, like, as thinking about sports as entertainment product that is consumed, right? There's not really a motivation for men to want to watch women's sports in that way, right? So and even then, if you're talking about gay men are going to have feel the same way on a psychological subconscious level as me watching men's sports, right? Right? We share that. They're not going to want to watch women. It's not there for them. So who does that leave the largest demographic for watching women's sports? And I'm not saying that this is an absolute, you know, that, but I'm just saying in general, right? This is in general, looking at something from a marketing perspective. That's going to leave you with other women who play sports and lesbians. Not big groups, right? So you're never going to have the same volume of audience, right? So if your product doesn't make the same kind of money, you can't be paid the same kind of money. Right? Anyway, just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. In general, people want to see women dance and sing, right? They don't want to. They aren't really interested in watching women play sports. My family was never really interested in watching me play any sports, with the exception of softball. My dad coached softball, but any of the teams I was on, my parents never came to any of my games. Nobody in my family came to any of my games when I played. No. Never came to any of my basketball games or my field hockey games or my lacrosse games. Never. Never. Not one. Not a single game. Nobody's interested in watching women play sports. So, anyway. Just my thoughts on that. Like, meanwhile, there's Brittany Griner. Oh, Putin was dumb. He thought Americans in general were going to give a shit if he picked up a WNBA player. Right? I mean, I give a shit on a human level. Jeez. But the government doesn't give a shit. They really don't. And in general, it's not like something people are talking about, right? That poor woman. That poor woman. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Brody. How you doing over there, buddy? You handsome boy. He is. I have a little kitty here. You can't see her because it's dark and she's dark. Are you being cute? Are you being cute? Are you? Are you being cute? Anyway. Anyway.